This is Ken Vick with Recovery Consulting. I wanted to talk real quickly about respite housing or harm reduction housing. In Missouri, we do all kinds of great services when it comes to recovery supports and recovery housing. But I also know that across our entire nation, we need more recovery housing. We also have a dire need for a respite house or a harm reduction house that is able to meet people where they are, truly understanding that some people may not be willing to take a first step into a recovery process or an abstinence process or anything, but they just need a place to be safe long enough for them to be able to feel comfortable and be willing to take a step forward. I think we could do better on funding these sources and these programs when it comes to a respite house. If you take people that go to, say, our crisis centers, our 23-hour centers, or the ERs, and you look at just the homeless population, or the unhoused, I should say, you are seeing that a majority of those individuals aren't really looking to go into a recovery or an abstinence-based program. Well, where do we send them? What do we do for them? Odds are we're going to send them back to the street because there's very little resources to actually give somebody a place to be safe. What we need to do is come up with a 30 or 60-day programs that actually add a level of safety for people that can come in. They're not forced into anything, but they are able to sit around with staff and team members that are really caring about what they do to move forward. I would recommend manning those houses with peer specialists, people with lived experience. I think that would help to open the door for people to see that maybe there's a different way of life. Maybe they could do something different. And then maybe after that respite house, maybe they'd be prepared to go to a different form of a recovery program. Right now, our outcome based on almost everything is connected to abstinence only. And those programs work great, but what are we doing with somebody that isn't set in that same area or isn't ready to be in that area, or maybe never will because they need to actually treat their trauma rather than the substance use disorder or their behavioral health issue? We need to get better at looking at respite houses, meeting people where they are, which is what we've claimed for years in the recovery field, and actually doing a person-centered program to where we can actually build a level of safety for people. And when somebody feels safe, they're more likely to take a step forward. They're more likely to identify barriers that have caused struggles in their lives and maybe be willing to remove them. We can do better as professionals. We can do better as a community when we start looking at what we're doing with people that struggle the most with so many barriers, and we can stop being part of that barrier. Our programs are part of those barriers, the systems, the mass amounts of assessments that everybody has to do, all the different data collection that we need could be a little bit more trauma informed and not so activating for the individuals that we serve as well. We need to find safer ways to deal with every individual and start treating everybody like the human being they deserve to be treated like. Again, this is Ken Vick with Recovery Consulting. And I totally recommend that you look into respite housing, look into harm reduction housing, and realize how many people we're just putting back on the street rather than actually giving them a safe place so they can build a little stability and safety so then they can decide if they're able to move forward or not, or if they want to. Thank you very much.